Barbie collecting and our love for Barbie. So I'll introduce myself first and then everybody will, and then we'll answer a few questions about Barbie collecting and Barbie dolls, okay? So my name's Taylor Brianna again. I've been collecting for almost 16 years. I primarily collect black Barbies and Barbie accessories. So like jewelry and t-shirts, purses, my earrings that didn't come from Amazon today. But yes, that's about what I collect.
Hi everybody, I'm Cheryl Burnett, and I've been collecting for a little over 30 years now. And I collect platinum label, silkstone, vintage, one of a kind. We'll talk about that later in case you don't know what those are. And anything that really appeals to me.
Hi guys, my name is Giovanni Primera. I am a collector of all things. I've been collecting for 6 years, so I have not just Barbie, but I have a lot of Integrity, Rats, Monster High, Rainbow High, you name it, I probably got it. But I just love Barbie. I collect basically from her anything Silkstone, 80s, recent, just anything that I find appealing and lovely. So, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Heather Holloway. I've been collecting about 26 years. I collect my childhood dolls, I collect Silkstone, and just pretty much anything I see that I like. And I also collect playline stuff, not necessarily like just the signatures or the fancy ones. So it's a little all over the place, a lot of vintage stuff, and yeah.
Okay, so our next question is, how did you get into Barbie collecting and realize that it was more than just a hobby?
Well, back in 1995, I saw an ad in a magazine for the Rapunzel Barbie, and she was a children's collector Barbie, and I really loved her long hair and her dress, and so I called the 1-800 number on the ad, and I went to my toys and found her, and they also had Maria from The Sound of Music, and Peppermint Princess Barbie. I thought, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to collect, because more than two is a collection, right? And I've been addicted ever since.
So when it comes to my collection journey, I think it's been a pretty long one, even though it's only been 6 years. I started collecting Barbie around 2 or 3 years in, mainly because I was collecting Monster High and Rainbow High beforehand, but I just saw some gorgeous dolls like this one that I just could not pass up on, and especially when it comes to like the high fashion aspects, so like the Versace Barbie, the Blondes Barbie, those ones are like the ones that really caught my attention, that got me into it. So then after that I was just like, you know what, especially with like those types of Barbies, Kate Spade, the Malibu Barbie that my friend gave to me, the original, I was just like, you know what, this is it, I'm definitely going to be a Barbie collector from now on, and I just started getting them.
So I started my collection, well first off, like, I realized it was more than a hobby. This is all gonna tie together. I'm autistic, and when I was little, I played with Barbies. I realize now as an adult to learn social cues, to learn to socialize with other people because my brain is different. I don't have social cues. Things that come natural to neurotypical people don't come naturally to me. So I used my dolls to learn to interact with people. I put them in scenarios. I played completely different. And I never wanted to get rid of my dolls. And when I was 13, I know my mom's in heaven right now, like, oh, please don't tell this story, I sound horrible. But when I was 13, my mom was really concerned with how I didn't fit in, and she thought the solution was to get rid of all my Barbies because I was too old. So when I got my first job, I immediately spent my first check rebuying all my childhood Barbies, and that's where my collection started. And I think when I became an adult, I realized that it was more than a hobby for me. It was crucial in my journey as an autistic person.
Yes, I think I have a similar experience with thinking I needed to get rid of Barbies as I got older. I know before I went to college, I was like, oh, I'm grown now, I'm gonna get rid of these. And then I started collecting like in college terms, like the very next semester, because I missed them. And so I think I just went in Walmart and I saw the Sew and Style dolls, and then that's how I first started collecting. So I have most of the Sew and Style dolls. And so then it just kind of grew, and then it grew, and then they had their own room, and now they still have their own room in my house. So I think, I feel like I don't think I fell into it. I think I was just meant to be a Barbie collector. So our next question is, what's one misconception about Barbie collectors or Barbie itself that you wish people understood?
I think it's because all of us, all the little girls and adults even, can be whatever we want to be, and so can Barbie, because she has so many careers. And I have friends that I've made that are doctors and lawyers and nurses and chefs and models and even a nuclear physicist and a rocket scientist. I know all these people through Barbie collecting. And then there's me, I was a housewife, but I love Barbie. So, anyway, we can do anything.
So one misconception that I think even the brand to this day kind of gets wrong is that you can be anything, but you can't be glamorous while doing it, which is a lot of things, or a lot of dolls that I saw, at least in the 2000s to around like 2012 be. You know, they were like these glamorous women, glamorous hair, glamorous makeup. I'm a doctor, I got this full eyeshadow look on, I'm a vet, you know, I'm gonna have my bling, I'm an astronaut, you know, and I got these earrings, I got this hair, and I feel like that's kind of been taken out just due to like pressure from the general public, and that now Barbie is, at least to me, a little bit sanitized in that form, but it's something that I would definitely love to see and revitalize, and I think one of the designers, at least Andrew Kent, is trying to do that, revitalize that you can be anything that you want to be in this life, but you gotta be glamorous while doing it, so.
I would say I've got two. The first one would be that Barbies are just for girls. So, I have a 9-year-old son down here in the front row, and he loves Barbies. He loved the Barbie movie. And then my second misconception is that I'm in my mid-40s, and my whole life I've heard, like every single decade, there's been some kind of news article, something on TV that, oh, Barbie's toxic, it makes little think they have to be perfect. And I don't think that's true. And as an example for you guys, obviously I'm blonde. I was born with blonde hair and blue eyes, but my favorite Barbie, the one I grew up that I thought was the most beautiful, is this Western Stampin' Barbie, and she looks nothing like me. And I didn't go dye my hair black because I thought I needed to look like her. So I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions, is that it'll make little girls think they have to be perfect, because Barbie is diverse and everybody is beautiful.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I think too that sometimes there's a lot of negative things about Barbie in the news, but I feel like too, like Cheryl said, that I feel like Barbie has inspired me to just feel like I can be whatever I wanted to be. And I have been. Like, as Barbie has so many careers, I have tried so many things, and then I'm like, ooh, I'm going to the next career. So I think that's really inspirational from Barbie. So our next question, how has representation, identity, and personal values influenced what type of Barbies you collect?
Well, I like one-of-a-kind Barbie dolls, and one-of-a-kind is there's only one doll in the entire world. But there's lots of one-of-a-kind doll artists. They take an existing doll, repaint her face, redo her hair, and create really fantastical outfits. And so I love the quality and the attention to detail and all the crystals they use. And they're really pieces of artwork rather than, I collect those rather than painting or.
So when it comes to me personally, through my collection journey, I've kind of just collected, at one point, just anything that I found or anything cheap or anything that I saw that was pretty. But throughout the years, I've kind of refined my collection in terms of like how I feel about myself, what I think collection should be, and what I want to represent. So even though, for example, like I'm not Mexican, I'm just Latino, I collect all the Dia de los Muertos Barbies that are pink. I love displaying them. I have a little display with my pequeño that I like cremated. I have him there with the Dia de los Muertos Barbies. They're gorgeous. I love, especially with the Chris Chiori Barbie that was for the Dia de los Muertos. I felt like it was the representation of a true Mexican beauty. I was like, me encanta, I love her. She's just everything. I try to have a sort of diverse collection just to represent all the forms of beauty that I see within women, within life, in terms of fashion as well. Because I feel like there's just so much to Barbie, so much to fashion, to just be collecting one thing or one look. So when it comes to like gorgeous women, if I see she's gorgeous, if I see that she fits diversity in my collection, she's totally for me.
The diversity of Barbie is also one of my favorite things. Over the years, I've seen Mattel release more diversity and differently abled dolls too. Recently, they released an autistic Barbie, and that's something I never in my wildest dreams as an autistic child could have imagined, that there'd be a Barbie like me. And I also really love that with the differently abled, for instance, there is a Chelsea doll, which is the little Barbie sister. I saw one in the store one day that had a back brace. She had scoliosis, and I have something called kyphosis, and it's a back similar to scoliosis. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm getting her, because like that's awesome. So that's one of my favorite things is the diversity, and that's like one of the most important things that I think Mattel's done recently too, is just diversity all over.
So for me, I know I shared at the beginning, I collect primarily black dolls. So I do have other dolls as well, but about 95% of my collection is black dolls. And I often share, and I talk about a lot of places about diversity and representation in toys. And I think that's why I started with the Sew and Style collection, because that's how I used to dress. Like they literally look just like me. And so when I was a young girl, I have 5 sisters, so my parents have 6 girls. We all played with Barbie at one time. I don't know how they were paying for that. But I know my mom used to have to drive like really far to try to find a lot of black dolls. And this is in the early to late 90s, and it's not that they didn't have them, it's just that you had to just like go where the stores thought that, mainly where the stores thought where black people would be. And so now that's really what influenced me to collect black dolls, just because I wanted so many of them in one space. And I also wanted to see dolls that looked like me. So that's really what has inspired me to collect black dolls. And I speak a lot about the history of Black Barbie too. So, and I share that with little kids and Girl Scout troops. Just because I think diversity and representation in our toys is really important. So I'm happy that Mattel has really released so many different types of dolls that are diverse, and I think they're doing a good job, especially as we have so much crazy stuff going on. Like every time they try to do something, the news will make something up, but I think that they're doing a really good job working against that. So our next question is going to be, how has your relationship with Barbie evolved as you've grown older? So I know we've all been collecting for several years, so how has your relationship changed over time?
I've learned to be more picky in what I buy. Since I've been collecting for over 30 years, I have about 2,600 dolls. Yeah, it's me and all my dolls. Anyway, I realized I can't buy everything that comes out like I used to. When I started, I would buy everything. Now I'm a lot choosier, and I buy what I like, what speaks to me.
So when it comes to me personally though, I'm the same way. I am very picky when it comes to Barbie itself. Like I'm a stickler for quality in terms of dolls, period. So if I don't feel like the hair is quality, if I don't feel like the design has like good textiles or it looks cheaply made, definitely not coming with this collection at all. Even if the base is gorgeous. Because you do have to, especially in this economy, you do have to be kind of discriminate with what you're buying, especially because these companies, they take a look at what you are buying, and if they see I can produce something cheap, and these people will still buy it, that's all they're gonna do. So I speak with my wallet, that's for sure. But in terms of like my relationship with Barbie, I'll say, growing up, I was always told that Barbies are for girls. So whenever my cousins would ask me to play with them, like back in Venezuela, I would never do it. They'd be like, oh, those are girls' toys. Like, no, no, thank you. And even when I started collecting back in 2020-ish, Monster High and Rainbow High, my excuse for collecting them and not like, for example, like Barbie or Integrity was, oh, well, these are like characterized, they're not like really women. Like, I'm not playing with a girl's toy, I'm playing with a cartoon, a character. But after I became a little bit more comfortable with my collection journey and saying that I'm a doll collector and not having to hide them to my friends, I was like, you know what, who cares? You know, like, if I like it, I like it. You know, and I shouldn't be afraid to say that. And that's when I really, like, was able to feel free with my collection and feel free with my relationship with collecting Barbie and just being able to say, and sit up here and be like, yeah, I'm a Barbie collector, period. So.
I would say I started off, like I said, buying my childhood Barbies back, and then I started buying the designer lines. And I was, after I had, with the exception of the really expensive childhood ones I still haven't gotten, I was sticking to only designer, only this certain category. And I'd say over the years, what's changed for me is if I see something now and I like it, I'm gonna buy it. If I'm in a Target, one day I saw a Tooth Fairy Barbie, and while the Tooth Fairy's a queen, she's not a special interest of mine. But the Barbie was so pretty, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. And I even buy like Playline dolls. I'm a Cub Scout leader, and I saw like a camping Barbie, and I was like, oh. So I got her. So that's what's changed for me, is I went from being like super strict about my collection to kind of expanding to just anything.
I think for me, have gotten strict too, because I realized that I do want a lot of stuff. Okay, let's see. Maybe if I hold it like I've gotten stricter with my collection, but I think my relationship with Barbie has evolved just because as a young girl, I have a picture of me, I had my first Barbie doll when I was 4, and so I think I love pink too, so I feel like my family thought that I was going to grow out of this, but I've really grown into it. Like even now, I'm 33, and my house is pink. I have like pink everything. The HOA is always sending me letters. But I think I've just grown into it. So I think that's how my relationship has evolved over time. I buy what I want. I do, you know, what I want with my Barbies. And I think that's how it's changed for me over time. So our next question, what advice would you give to someone just starting or reconnecting with their Barbie journey?
Well, from experience, I would say don't go out and buy everything like I did. It was crazy. Just be picky. And also, if you're just starting out, find like-minded friends. Join a club if you can find one. We have one in Houston called Houston Doll Society, and I'm a member of that, but I'm also a member of other doll clubs throughout the country. But like-minded friends, you can share and be enablers and help each other growing in the hobby.
So this one's aimed more towards my adult collectors or like teenage, whatever you want to call it. But like Dave said, don't just buy whatever's cheap or whatever's available. Be discriminate with your collecting. I mean, it's very easy to get overwhelmed, especially when people are selling Barbies for a second hand at least, for like $2, $1, or you see in the store like a super cheap Barbie like on sale. It's fine, you know, like you do that every once in a while, especially if it piques your interest. You know, like that's what collecting is about, getting things that you like. But if you're just getting it because you can, that's where the issue lies. Because you will get overwhelmed and you're gonna end up one day with 500 Barbies and you only like maybe 10 of them and you're gonna be like, dang, what am I doing here? That's happened to me. So just be careful with what you're collecting, collect what you love, collect what inspires you. In terms of kids, I mean, it's the same thing, you know, like collect what you love, collect what inspires you. But also treat them nicely, trust. Because they are, especially at least in this economy, a little hard to come by. So, yeah, just be careful with that.
So, my first advice would be to all the kids out there. If you have a Barbie right now that is your favorite, don't let her go. Don't think you outgrew her. Just hold on to her and keep her. Because one day, if you have kids, you might want to share your kin. Because I have kins from my childhood. One of my favorite dolls from my childhood is a kin, and so hold on to your dolls. You're never too old for them, okay? And then the other thing would be for adult collectors. If in your parents' attic they have holiday Barbies from your childhood that they told you could never play with, because they were going to be worth so much money, I want to tell you, most of them are not worth that much. And if you wanted to play with those Barbies, I want you to go in the attic and open them and play with them, okay? Go play with your Barbie. Never got to, they're not really worth that much, okay? That's my first piece of advice. The other thing is what everyone else said here, I want to echo it. Don't just get overwhelmed, especially if you get into like the Mattel creation side of it. They're constantly releasing signature dolls. In fact, this morning, my friend Jordan, who I met through Barbie, and I were back there trying to get the rocker. They just released a rocker Barbie from the 80s and 90s, and we were desperately, like, frantically trying to get her. And I wanted all of them. But the thing is, I just got my favorite for now. And even if you see that they sell out, Mattel always has more. So don't get upset, don't panic, and don't overbuy. Take your time with your collection. That's what makes you appreciate it the most.
Just one more thing on that, especially with Mattel Creations and how they like pump out Barbies and Barbies and Barbies. Don't let FOMO ride your collection. Don't let the fear of missing out be the one determining factor of why you want that doll. Actually get her if you only like her. I mean, I've skipped out this year on basically almost every Mattel Creations Barbie just because it's like, I already have enough gorgeous ones, but like I need something that's like, wow. And I haven't seen that personally, so why am I gonna get it? I'm not. So, and that applies to not just Barbie, but like all the ones that they pump out, because trust, they are a machine.
So our next question, how did the Barbie film change how people view Barbie, and how did it change how you view Barbie?
Well, I'm wearing a shirt from the Barbie movie that says Hi Barbie. I went to the 2023 National Barbie Doll Collectors Convention in Orlando, and that was the same year the movie came out. And we had a lot of new collectors there. A lot of influencers and people that are on TikTok, and I'm old school. I'm an old lady, so but it's fun to see new people coming in, because that's the future of doll collecting too. Is all of you young kids and teenagers and middle-agers and
I think when the Barbie movie came out, it really inspired a lot of people to recollect their childhood collections, to be not afraid of saying that they were a collector if they weren't collecting already. And it also, I think, at least what it was supposed to do, was to reimagine Barbie as what she was, or still is. That kind of like unfashionable just doll, to being, you know, fashionable, to speaking out of her diversity. I mean, you see the Barbie lineup within the movie. It's like all these Barbies doing different jobs, different faces, different ethnicities, and that was really beautiful to see. I love the diverse lineup within them. As a collector though, I will say, I was a little bit disappointed, at least with the rollout. You know, you see all of these Barbies that are beautiful on screen, but we didn't get them as a doll. And that's what I was most expecting, like especially when it came to like that ginger Barbie. Oh, I love a good ginger, so I was really disappointed when she didn't come out. And then a lot of the dolls did take a long time to be released, and you just didn't get that same diversity that was in the movie in the dolls. And so I was really looking forward to that. I'm sad we didn't get it. Hopefully one day, but I hope that at least the brand sees that like fashion and diversity can go together, and that's how you prop up the brand.
So I will say the only bad thing that came out of the Barbie movie was resellers. They killed it for us collectors. But the movie had so many messages, and it's just everything I've always imagined that Barbie is. She celebrates that she can do everything, and even though Ken is a very important part of Barbie's life, he's not the center of her world, and that's girl power. And I think also for a lot of little boys I know that saw the movie, like my son, they took away to be an Alan in a world of Kens, right? So Alan's always been one of my favorite dolls. I have several. He's very rare. So I like that aspect of it. But it just really amazed me how many people were inspired to start recollecting, to begin collecting. Or I cried so many nights watching TikToks of people whose parents were never, their parents were never able to afford to buy them a Barbie or the Barbie they wanted. And then I watched kids in their 20s buying their parents their first Barbie. The nights I cried watching those videos, just the magic of and the power of Barbie. I just think it was really special. And then it also opened my eyes to how many people in my life actually support my hobby, when most of the time my thoughts are people probably think I'm weird. And so a lot of friends asked me to go see the Barbie movie with them. I can't tell you how many times I saw it, but it meant so much to me that they wanted to see it with me. So overall, that was just like such a great year and experience for Barbie collectors, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think 2023 I spent so much money because of the Barbie movie. I mean, I'm easily influenced for Barbie stuff, but I think kind of like what Heather said, I feel like community was really, I found so much more community. I think I found community over the years, but with the Barbie movie, I just didn't realize so many people would be like supportive of Barbie and happy to see the movie. I did like a little movie event, and I just decided that I wanted to go to the movies, and like I'm an event planner, so I'm always extra, so I just called the movie theater and I was like, I want to rent out the theater for the Barbie movie, and I'm just gonna pay for 30 people because I thought that's all who would come. And Cheryl came. We had 125 people come, and I didn't even know all those people, but everyone was so excited, and it really just showed how big the Barbie community can be and how positive the Barbie community is, because a lot of us didn't know each other, but we were taking pictures, we were having rosé margaritas, yes, we were having us a good time in there, and we just had a really, really great time. And so I think just showing the community that Barbie collectors have and Barbie lovers, I feel like that's something that I was really inspired by. And I think it was really a phenomenon, because I know I spoke on the news a little bit about it, and I was like, I didn't think that everyone was gonna be like talking about Barbie like this, but I think it just shows you how powerful the Barbie brand is. So that's kind of like why we're all here today, because we love Barbie in some way. So our next one, this kind of goes with this last question. How has the community of Barbie collectors and Barbie lovers changed over the years?
Well, for me, a lot of my friends have stayed the same. I've lost a lot of Barbie friends due to death, but I've made a lot of new friends too, and we keep evolving. And like I said, the future belongs to the children, and yeah, all of you here, it's so good to see you all, and just keep it up, but don't buy everything, just everything that speaks to you, but hang on to them too. And it is okay to take them out of the box and play with them, like Giovanni said. Well, I used to be a dyed-in-the-wool, never take them out of the box person because I thought, oh, they're worth more. But if you're buying Barbies to invest and make a lot of money, that's not going to happen. So you have to decide whether you want to be a box collector or a doll collector and really enjoy your dolls.
Yeah, no, to echo that, I mean, I've collected mainly brats for a while, and I mean, I'll shell out good money for an inbox brat, but the minute I get her, she's coming out. Cause, I mean, I buy them in the inbox because they're Megan, that's what I mainly collect, and so I just love the feeling of being able to open her again, like I just bought her from the store that minute, and feel her new quality, have all the accessories, I love that. But I don't leave them in boxes unless they're like super rare, like my UK hockey, or no, it's Canadian hockey Megan play sports. Like that's uber rare. I mean, I paid a 500 for her, so she's never coming out. She's never coming out. But in terms of the community, mainly for me at least, even though I have my friends up here, I found a lot of community online. Especially when there's in the Twitter space, doll Twitter, so I'm there all the time. I'm seeing everything that my friends are posting, all these creators, one-of-a-kind artists, and a lot of us, you know, we love the older Barbies, especially like the 2000s, because that's really what to us, even though they were coming out as we were just being born, that's what we like saw the image of Barbie being, you know, like this glamorous, high fashion model that's doing anything, wherever, because she wants to. And so I love seeing that a lot of us are continuing on that motif of Barbie, being glam with doing anything, and trying to revitalize the brand with that, with our, at least our little Twitter sphere. So that's what I like.
Well, I think over the years, especially with the Barbie movie, our community has grown and it's been amazing. I think people have realized we live in crazy times, okay? And so if something makes you happy, just do it. Who cares what somebody thinks, okay? And to reiterate the box thing too, my very expensive ones don't come out either. But even my childhood ones that were expensive, she's been out of the box. You can put it back in the box all night or display in the box, but I was telling them earlier, I have rollerblading Barbie. I think she was early 90s, but she was recalled because her rollerblades sparked. You like pushed her across, came out. Well, it gave off this very specific smell, and I know it sounds odd, but I pull mine out all the time and the rollerblades just so I can smell that nostalgia. So just because, you know, if you want to display them in the box, they do come out easily most of the time. I don't pull my expensive ones out, but I think the community's grown and we've all learned via social media. Because I'm in my 40s, I'm in that generation where we had no social media, no cell phones, and then, you know, internet, social media, cell phones. So I've lived both worlds, and this one's definitely better because you can connect with so many people, and that's helped the community grow a lot.
Yes, I agree about the internet. I think the community, it's made it feel like the community is smaller because of the internet. So, I mean, I definitely know I have grown up with like the internet and stuff, but I didn't meet people. I didn't know that there were people who were like me, who loved Barbie. I joined the Houston Doll Society, and I used to be a member when I was in college. And that's when I met so many different collectors like Cheryl. She has such a fantastic collection. She's not letting y'all know. She's really that girl. But I met Cheryl and so many other people who had collections, and they were big and beautiful collections. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then when I started sharing online, I met more people, and I just felt like, oh my gosh, these are my people. So I feel like the internet really helped to bring everyone together. So this next question is really fun. Is there a doll in your collection with a particularly special story?
Yes. I mentioned earlier I collect one-of-a-kind dolls. I had some very dear friends, Mario and Gianni from Italy, who tragically passed away about 7 months ago in an accident. But for my, I don't want to say how old I'm, for my 70th birthday, I was able to go over to Milan. They live down the outskirts of Milan. And they gave me a one-of-a-kind doll, and they named her Queen Cheryl. And she's a red. I love redheads, and I mean, they were the best in the world, in my opinion. But they gave her to me as a birthday present, and that means so much to me. And of course, I'll never get rid of her. But that's one of the special stories I have.
So, when it comes to my dolls, I feel like they all have kind of like special stories, especially the second-hand ones, because especially with the second-hand ones, usually I've been going out of my way to get them, especially if I love the design. I feel, oh yes, special story for this one. So this was my second soapstone I've been doing. Yes. It was, I was in Florida with my dad, to get some stuff, I was driving in. I went to Disney, and I just had the worst day there. It was during spring break, there were so many people, I was like, fuck, I want to get out of here. I was like, where's the roller coasters? I was like, why aren't there no roller coasters? So I just left early. And I pop up Facebook Marketplace, and the first thing I see is this 35th anniversary Soapstone Barbie, the brunette version, for $50. And I'm like, I'm spamming the guy. I'm like, I can come right now. I can come right now. I'll go right now. Like, please, 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 please. I drove an hour to go get her from Orlando to like, or from Kissimmee where I was in Disney to like northern Orlando. I like popped in real quick. And I didn't speak English, she spoke Portuguese. So it was like a little bit difficult to communicate, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it just to get this Barbie. I got her and wow, she was gorgeous. Like, I truly believe in Soapstones because they feel otherworldly. But getting her was like the highlight of my trip. I always help her out. I've like upgraded her shoes to integrity shoes. I've given her like an integrity necklace, her bling. Like I said, that's my girl. So I feel like that's one of the most special ones for me.
For me, I have so many, but hello. Okay, a few years ago, I found a doll. So part of having autism is it comes from my Ehlers-Danlos, which is a genetic condition, and it causes a lot of chronic pain. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia very young from that, and it also affects all my organs and my heart. So all of my social media handles from when I did YouTube and everything is always Fibro Barbie or Fibro Fighting Barbie, and I always thought like it would be so cool if there was a Barbie for that, right? But I mean, obviously that was very niche, right? So I was walking around in Target one day and I saw her. I think Prince of Power Barbie had a show at some point. This was several years ago. I knew nothing about her. But when I saw her, I was like, if there was a Fibro Fighting Barbie, this is what she'd look like. So I know this is the closest I'll ever get to that, but that's probably my most special Barbie with a backstory.
Not to take away time, but I also forgot about my other Barbie, like on my other soapstone that I got, because I just really want to share the story because it's really funny to me at least. I was at the club in Las Vegas, and my friends pulled up, and so they were like, let's go to this other one. And so as I'm like at the club, I see on Facebook Marketplace another soapstone, and I'm like, the guy has it for $150, I offer him $100. He's like, got it. And I'm like, so where do we meet? He's like, I'll come to you. And so you're coming to me. And so he's like, yeah. He's like, I'll pull up at 10. So he does pull up at 10. He gives me the Barbie, and it's like this beautiful lingerie model number 6. And I'm just like, oh, you're gorgeous. It was this gorgeous connect on redhead. But I didn't have time to put her in my hotel room before we hopped to the next club. So we get to the next club, I have her in the box, and I'm like, yes, at the club, and I'm like, I'm not carrying this box everywhere, so I unbox her, and at one point I have her with me on the dance floor. The DJ sees her, she's like, give me it. So the DJ takes my Barbie, she's like playing around with it, and like putting them off on the stage. I'm like, please be careful, like, but the Barbie's at the time of her life. She was on that dance floor, she was up on stage. At the end of the night, the DJ took me down, and she was like, hey, I love your Barbie. She was like, let me get her on my Instagram. So I got professional pictures of her with me in Las Vegas. It was the time. Like, I had such a great time with her, so Soapstones for the win.
Okay, I have one more story too. Because of social media, which I'm not an expert on, but a lady found me through Facebook and said that she was in charge of selling her great aunt's Barbie collection. Her great aunt had passed away and had tubs and tubs of Barbies. And she didn't know anything about the Barbies. And so I didn't know this woman. She could have been a scammer or somebody that wanted to rob me or something. But we met up in the Woodlands. She brought me this tub and she goes, I don't know what's in here. You just take it and go through it and let me know if there's anything in there. So a few days later I take it and I'm going through it. And there's some vintage dolls in there. Some of them not in the best shape, but there was a couple Kens, a Midge, a Skipper, and then I'm pulling out a blonde ponytail, and I look on her, she had holes in her feet. You know what that means? She was a #1 Barbie. I couldn't, I went, oh my God. And then I called a friend who's a dealer and an appraiser and sent him pictures, and he called me immediately and said, do you know what you have? I said, yeah. And he said, do you know how much she's worth? And I said, don't tell me. Yeah, so a lot. Anyway, well, did you know, fun fact, the most expensive Barbie sold at auction sold for a little over $27,000, but she was pristine in her box. Like, this person had got the Barbie and then put it away and forgot about it, never touched it. Now, I myself would not pay $27,000 for a Barbie, but I did pay a little over $5,000, but for everything that was in the tub. And there were fashions in there too, vintage fashions. So yeah, and the lady trusted me, and I told her, you know, I will give you what she's worth, and she was very happy because she had no idea. And so that was a very happy story.
I think mine, I've been collecting, of course, for almost 16 years, and I think I mostly started collecting I started collecting with sewing styles, and then I started collecting some of the less expensive collectibles, and then I started, of course, I would spend $200 or $300, and then I think I realized that I was a real collector when I really had spent money, and I was kind of feeling a little bit sick about it. But I'm a member of the best sorority. I know some of my sorority sisters are in the back, but I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and we're the only Divine Nine sorority with the Barbie, and it's a very rare Barbie. And so I wanted the Barbie when I became a member in 2021, and I was just I'm gonna go on eBay, and I'm gonna I had never really bid for anything, so I just bid. And then I set my max bid, and I can't tell people how much I paid, but I set my max bid, and then it kept saying I've been outbid, but it kept going, and it went to the max bid. And then the next day I woke up and it said I won, and I was oh my God, I didn't know it was gonna go to the max bid. But yeah, that's when I thought about it for 4 hours, and they were telling me my time was ticking. So I just put my credit card down, and that's when I was I'm a real collector now, hun. I just get this money. But my AKA Barbie is one of my very special Barbies. She's not even in my doll room. She's on the wall with all of my sorority stuff. So that was a very special story, because that's when I realized whoo, I'm really about it. So our last question will be, what do you think keeps Barbie relevant generation after generation?
Because she keeps changing and evolving with the times. She adapts. At least Mattel makes her adapt to the times. And they keep making new ones that are more inclusive of everyone, like Heather said. And it's just, yeah, you've got to adapt and keep up with things. Also, who knows what tomorrow is? March 9th. It's Barbie's birthday, and how old is she going to be? 67. So happy birthday, Barbie, and to you.
So personally, I think that while Barbie is trying to keep up with the times, keep up with the fashions, I think really what like keeps Barbie in the mainstream is her timelessness. Especially with the older dolls, the 2000s dolls. I keep talking about them because the 2000 dolls are really great. Go and look at them if you haven't. They're just extraordinarily gorgeous. But especially with the 90s, the 2000s, like those Barbies are timeless. They have fashions that are just never ever going to go out of style. And those are the Barbies that when I talk about and my friends talk about them, that we can all agree that is the Barbie. That's what when we think of Barbie, that's what we're thinking about. But even then, Barbie keeps reinventing herself. I hope that she reinvents a lot more and that we see a lot more from her in the future, especially with new designers coming in like Angel Kent. Truly love his work, especially with Odile. If y'all haven't bought the Oma Barbie, she's the blue gala one. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Go support that because, again, companies see what people are spending their money on and you speak with your wallet. So, yeah.
Everything they said. Like literally. But I think another aspect of Barbie is that there's a nostalgia there, especially when you become a parent, to get to share that with your children. And it doesn't just have to be little girls. Like I said, my son and I enjoyed Barbies. When he was really young, we spent many a days playing with his dream house for hours. So there's a nostalgia there. It's a great thing to do with your kids, but Barbie, she's constantly reinventing herself, but also timeless at the same time. And they really push Mattel the limits even before maybe some people are comfortable with it when they, change Barbie. She's had every job. There's also like the aspect of collecting too, where, for instance, my collection, the first time I visited the Statue of Liberty, they have a shop at the bottom or around there, and there was a Statue of Liberty Barbie, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need her because I'm here and that's like my souvenir. The first time I voted for president in 2000, was old enough to vote, I bought President Barbie that year to mark the first year I could vote period, not just for president. But there's just so many things about it.
Yes. So I think for us, I think Barbie is just very timeless, and I think she brings people together just because of what she represents. So I think that, of course, she's already been around for decades, and she'll continue to be around just because so many people are reintroduced to her each time. So the way when I got my first Barbie, that's in 1996, and Cheryl, you already collected, right? So Barbie's getting reintroduced to people at different times, and so we're all experiencing Barbie at a different time, but we still all love her the same. And so I think that's why she's able to appeal to all the generations, because she's just very timeless and cute. I mean, who doesn't want a cute toy? So that was all of our collectors' questions. So I think that's it. Does anybody else want to share anything?
There is a National Barbie Doll Collectors Convention, and this year it's in Austin, but it's full. 850 people usually attend these things. I know. And there's a wait list, but it's at July 7th through the 11th at the Hilton downtown Austin. And we have people that come and they sell out of their rooms before convention even starts. And also on Saturday, the 11th, I believe that's the 11th, they have a public sales room. And you can go to the sales room at the hotel and shop for Barbie. There is an entrance fee. It's usually about $10 for adults and usually a discount for children under 12 or so. I don't know what it is, but and there are doll shows around. You have to just go online and look them up. And but yeah, there's ways to buy not just online and through Facebook Marketplace, but actually being able to go and see them in person and touch them and pick them up.
Yes, thanks, Cheryl. I'm on the waiting list, so hopefully I get off. I feel like I'm gonna get off. I'm already claiming it in the atmosphere. But Yes, so thank you all for coming to listen to us talk about our collections. We hope that you were able to learn about collecting and that we've inspired you to continue your love for Barbie. So thank you guys.